Welcome back to all our friends, family, and yes, even our foes. To the Fox 10 Sports Podcast, where Todd and his sports-passionate kids are ready to bring you the latest updates and insights on all things sports. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Fox 10 Sports Podcast. I am your host, the Podfather, Todd Foxx, joined by my two oldest sons, Kellen and Garrett. You're ready for some hot takes, hard laughs, and no filters. And this isn't just a podcast, it's a movement. So let's talk some Oklahoma football. It's finally here. Oklahoma will kick off this upcoming Saturday, the 30th, against Illinois State, 5 p.m. here in Norman. It's going to be I'm excited. And so far, it looks like the weather is going to cooperate a little bit. May rain a little bit of chance of rain, but unless something drastically changes, it's not going to be a heat wave, which is good. Very good. But I know tonight we're going to talk about several different topics. One, we're going to go down each game. And we're also, towards the end, we're going to talk about the new SEC schedule starting next year. We're going to play 9 games against SEC opponents. And we're going to talk who we think we would like to personally see as the 3, I don't know what you would call it, the common opponents or same?
Yeah, pretty much 3 rivalries, I'd say.
3 rivalry games. So, well, let's go ahead and get started. Let's talk about the thoughts on the Illinois State win, loss. I think it's all going to be a win. We're going to be 1-0. We better be, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say a win on this one. I think it's going to be similar to most all the other 1-0 games we've had in the Venables era, where we look pretty solid all the way through. I don't think there's going to be any hiccups really in this one.
In a game like this, what are you hoping to see? Because I mean, they're not going to show everything, but what are you hoping to see?
Just from last year, throwing the ball downfield. I think you look again last year with Arnold and everything, we looked really good offensively against Arkansas State or whoever we played. I don't even remember who that first game was, but we didn't really throw the ball super far downfield. It was just mowing down the field play by play. But I'd like to see what Mateer's arm can really do, and maybe at the end again, like we always say, health.
Right.
But
Kellen, what are you hoping to see?
I just want to see some dominant defense, no stupid plays against I don't want to
inferior opponent.
Yeah. But I just want to see Mateer go out and throw that ball. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll win though? You haven't said.
Oh, I don't know. I don't want to. Probably.
Another thing too on the defensive side is, for our defensive line to be one of the best in the country, this is a game that they shouldn't have more than 50, 60 rushing yards at all by any means. Get 5, 6, 7 sacks. I mean, we haven't ever been, well, I shouldn't say ever. In my lifetime, I can't remember a defensive line being thought of as one of the best in the country nationally, not just OU fans, but nationally. And I'm excited to see if that's actually the case, because personally, I don't see it. I'm challenging them, but I really want them to prove me wrong.
Yeah, right now, Oklahoma's favored by 35. And the over-under is 60.5 points for the entire game, which I was going to pick 48-16.
Yeah, I'd say over on both of those.
64 points. Regardless, I just want to see an offensive line better. And not because even last year against Temple and some of these other Sisters of the Poor who they played, they still got pressure on the quarterback. So I want to see that for sure. I think if the line plays well, we're gonna be good. Let's move on to September 6th. A huge game. This is a big one. Oh, Michigan coming into Norman, 6:30 p.m. September 6th. That's a game. Obviously, I think the Sooners have to win. If they win that game, I think a lot of momentum shifts throughout the next several weeks as well. hypothetically a loss. They can rebound from it, but it's just going to be tough. What are your all's thoughts? Who's going to win that game?
I think it's a must-win, like you said, just for the fact that I think it really is a toss-up. And I think with the way our schedule is laid out, you have to win those toss-up games. I think it's going to really depend on how good this freshman quarterback of theirs, Bryce Underwood, really is, because we've seen freshman quarterbacks not look so much like a freshman before, but at the same time, I mean, we've seen more cases of a freshman making a couple mistakes throughout the game. Helps tremendously that it's at home, obviously, and their defense is going to be good. But that's a game that our defensive line is going to be challenged, and I think that game alone is going to tell us and show us if our defensive line is actually as good as everyone says, because I mean, as everyone knows and makes jokes about, all they do is run the ball and hand the ball off. But it's a very exciting game. If it wasn't for last year with Alabama and all those teams coming into Norman, this would probably be the best game in Norman the last 5-6 years at least. But yeah, anyways, all that being said, I do think we win this. I think it's a close one. I think it's a lower scoring game. I don't foresee anybody really getting into the 30s, honestly. I just think that's how much of a defensive battle it's going to be. Now, I'd love if Mateer, kind of like Kellen said, for week one, went off, 350, 400 yards, 5-6 touchdowns. That'd be beautiful. But anyways, I have them starting off 2-0 on the year.
Kellen?
Yeah, I think we'll grab that win most likely. I mean, obviously we haven't seen any real games yet, but I think it's a must win. Just it's gonna let everybody know we are here and we're back. I know Michigan's not who they were a couple of years ago, but it's still one of the top most coveted teams and universities you want to play against, and I just think it's a huge game, huge opportunity, and just not a matchup we get to see every day. So it's going to be a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game, great atmosphere. It'll be fun. Starts at 6:30 p.m., so it'll be a night game. I believe it's going to be on ABC. This is going to be Michigan's got some big boys, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Like, the offensive line's going to be big, the defensive line. So both sides of the ball in the trenches it's going to be tough for them. Quarterback, Michigan, Underwood, first road test, and he could do one of two things. He could light it up and show that he's incredible, or he might suffer a little bit, being as this is his first big road test. I think Oklahoma wins this game. I think it's still a ways away, a couple weeks away, but I think we'll know fairly early in the fourth quarter how the game's going to turn out, and I expect the Oklahoma Sooners to be 2-0 after their first two games. Then on to Temple. We played Temple at home last year. Home and home series was just interesting. September 13th, we travel to Temple for an 11 a.m. kickoff in Philadelphia. Another Oklahoma win. What are your all thoughts?
Yeah, what is it? Their stadium has like 15, 20,000 or something like that. Like, it's just going to be an interesting environment, because I think the whole setup is going to be like lower class. Like, watching it on TV, you're probably not going to have the same angles. It's probably not going to have the same quality, and everything about it. But yeah, I also 3-0. There's not much to be said about it. I mean,
yeah, that'll be a win.
Perfect. Then September 20th, Auburn comes to town, Jackson Arnold. It's either going to be a 2:30 kickoff, 2:30 to 3:30 kickoff, or 5 to 7. We'll see. I think it all depends on how Auburn does against Baylor this coming up weekend, and how we do in the first several games as well. What do you guys think, and what do you kind of expect on that one?
I think if it wasn't for Arnold, this game wouldn't be nearly as exciting, to be honest. But I think we've seen a lot of reports coming out that Hugh Freeze is having a lot of struggles with Arnold even over there, which is a little shocking, just because they have a really good receiver core over there, if not one of the best in the country. But I think they're coming in here, they're expecting and hoping that they can win, and I think they could. Their defense is improved, and their offense couldn't be much worse than last year. But I think our team is one of the most improved in the country, and I think we're gonna set the standard for SEC play on that one for game one. And I don't think it's gonna be a close one. I think it's gonna be at least a 2-score game.
Yeah.
And so I think we start out 4-0.
Kellen?
I think I think we get the win for sure. I agree with Gary. This game, we would not care much about if it wasn't for Arnold. So I think he's either going to be terrible or this is going to be like his best game of his career just because it's against us. I think we still win either way, but he could 350, 400 yards going crazy because it's just his revenge tour. But either way, I think this game should be a lock for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I look forward to it as well. I think we will come out victorious. I think it'll be a little closer than some people may think, but I do think at the end of the day, and again, it all depends on a lot of different things, correct? But I mean, if we're going into that game 3-0 and not 2-1, I think that gives us just a little bit more extra momentum. And I expect to see a victory coming out of that game. October 4th, we play Kent State. That's the game where you won't be in town, right?
Correct. Yeah.
You picked a good one, so that's kind of like who we played last year. Maine, it's kind of the main game, and that's no busting chops to Kent State. I mean, they're getting paid for this game, but it's just one of those games that Oklahoma is going to win, and that's the kind of game you just want everybody to come out of the game healthy. What are your guys' thoughts?
I agree. I think we start out 5-0. Not too much to be said. It's just one of those games again that you just health and then try some different things and get some players maybe a rest if they need it and get some of those younger guys some experience.
Sure. Kellen?
Yeah, I think we'll obviously going to win that game. Hopefully, like Gary said, no injuries. If anybody did get hurt, hopefully that gives them a week of rest. And hopefully our starters play like a quarter or two and get rested for the next week.
Correct. That'll be that's really, honestly, all I got to say about that game. Just come out of it healthy and beat up on them a little bit and be done. Then October 11th, the big game in Texas, in Dallas, the Cotton Bowl against the University of Texas at 2:30. That is going to be a true test. Texas possibly will come into that game ranked number 1, depending on how it goes against Ohio State. And I fully expect them to win the games after that, but it's a possibility that Texas has won. If Oklahoma goes into that game 5-0, it's a possibility we're in the top 10, maybe top 15. I would think maybe for sure, perhaps, maybe better.
I'd say top 10 for sure. Yeah. Specifically because of how many top 10, top 20 matchups there are before that. There's going to be guys beating up on each other.
Yeah.
If we start out 5-0 with a good one against Michigan, I think there's definitely a chance.
Oh, yeah.
And if, again, depending on how that Michigan and Auburn game goes, if we look pretty solid, that obviously always helps. So
how do you guys feel this game's going to go?
It's a tough one. I think there's no doubt Texas has the best roster in the country and the most expensive. Yeah. But it's one of those games we say it year in, year out. It does not matter who's on the roster, who's on the sidelines. It's just the program versus the program and figure out who wins it. But I think Texas fans would admit also that it doesn't matter because they should have 100% beat us a couple years back whenever we had that game-winning drive, and we ended up pulling it out. And I think this is no different necessarily of like quality of team and matchup. So it's going to be a tough one. I do think Texas is for sure going to be ranked top 3. Even if they lose that game against Ohio State, I don't think you can necessarily knock them down too far. But I do predict us winning in a close battle. I think Mateer shines. I think he outperforms Arch Manning and proves that he's kind of one of those game changers and a gamer and a potential, top 10 pick next year. and
Awesome.
that's where he really shows it.
Okay, Kellen.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely tough because they're one of the best teams, like you said, could be number one, and it's Oklahoma, Texas. It can go either way any year. So I don't want to disrespect Texas, but I think we do win this one. This is Arch's first Oklahoma Texas start, so it's just going to be completely different for him, and it's going to be his first true test of a okay, Ohio State will be a big test, but there's just something different about a rivalry game. And I think our defense kind of pressures him a bit, and he folds. I think it'll be a close game, but as of right now, I'm predicting we come out on top.
Yeah, I hope if Mateer goes into this game healthy and he's rolling, obviously our chances are much better. And I just and then Arch Manning again. I don't know how well he's gonna have a good test against Ohio State. We honestly don't really know how good he really is going to be. He may be really good. It may not be good. I think he's going to be good, but we truly don't know. But I truly think that, in my opinion, I mean, sitting here on whatever August 25th is, I think Texas is going to win a close one. Unfortunately, I have Oklahoma 5-1 after this game. I want OU to win, obviously, but I just think Texas. I think they're good. I think they're loaded. But again, like you just said, you never know with this game for sure. All right, let's move on to October 25th. Ole Miss comes to town. Lane Kiffin and crew. Did I skip South Carolina? Man, my bad. October 18th, South Carolina. At South Carolina, 11 a.m. Most likely a kickoff around 11 a.m. South Carolina beat us up last year. Of course, those three early scores with the Hawkins mistakes cost us that game. But I know they've lost some players. How do you think this game's going to go?
This one's going to be a battle. I think they have one of the best defensive lines in the country. I think they got one of the better quarterbacks in the country as well. Not saying I don't think he's going to be a good NFL quarterback by any means, but he's just one of those guys that he's really good in college, and then you never hear about him again. But I think that environment's harder to play in than they're probably given. So I just think it's going to be a tough matchup, and I think after that high of a Texas win, I think we let it go a little bit. So I'm expecting to lose against South Carolina and fall to 6-1.
Dylan?
Well, I'm a little annoyed with Gary because I was also going to say we were going to lose this one. I think it's going to be similar to a couple of years ago when we beat Texas and we were looking great, and then we lost 2 straight because we were just drained. So I think we're going to be drained. I think banged up a little bit and just maybe slightly overconfident after beating Texas. And I think this is a game. I don't think it's a real high-scoring game. Like I don't think I could see neither team reaching 20, but we still managed to lose this one.
Well, it's interesting because I have us winning this game. I have us obviously losing to Texas. This game reminds me of the game last year when we played Ole Miss. It was an early kickoff, and it was honestly kind of going back and forth, and we kept in it. I think we're going to keep into this game the whole time. We're going to pull it out in the end. Mateer is going to work some Sooner magic in this game, and I think after this game, OU will be 6-1, leaving South Carolina. Now we're on to Ole Miss coming into Norman on October 25th. What were you going to say? Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
No.
What are your thoughts on this? Lane Kiffin and company.
This one's a really hard one just because their new quarterback is a super young guy, and you just never know. I mean, with Jackson Dart gone, I mean, their team still looks pretty solid and put together, and it's still Lane Kiffin, so they're still going to put up some offensive numbers for sure. But this one's just hard to predict. I do think being a Norman obviously is a huge advantage. I just don't know, what they're one of the more, I guess, flipped teams from last year. Not that they were bad last year, obviously. They just lost a lot of talent and then restacked it up. So I do expect us to win this game. I think the home field advantage helps a ton, and we just kind of overpower them a little bit. So that gives us a 7-1 start.
Kellen?
I think we'll win it. I think we'll start off slow, and I think all of us are going to be a little nervous that it's going to be exactly like 2 years ago, and we're like, what the heck's going on? But I think by the second quarter we get rolling and really don't look back.
I like our chances. I know Ole Miss going into this game, so they'll have played at Kentucky, home against Arkansas, Tulane. They'll have LSU, and then the week before us, they played Georgia, in Georgia. So I think they're going to have at least a couple losses for sure coming into this game. And the quarterback, at least, a new quarterback, he'll have, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games under his belt. So he'll be a little bit more experienced, but I still think being in Norman, I expect the Oklahoma Sooners to win this game and be 7-1 after that. And then November 1st, this is the game of all the ones, of all the road games, this is probably the one I'd want to go to the most, that huge stadium. I think it'd be great. We're playing in Knoxville against Josh Heupel, Tennessee Volunteers, either a afternoon or evening kickoff. And obviously, as everybody knows, it'll be depending on how the records are on both teams. How do you see this playing out?
I think it's going to be a win. I think they don't have
Really?
a quarterback. Yeah, they don't have a quarterback. They don't have any weapons on offense. I genuinely believe that, and that's the sole reason they lost Nico last year is because his dad and his family felt like he wasn't getting set up for success because he wasn't getting any help on the offensive side. Now, I think Nico sucks anyways, but they have no weapons on offense. Their defense is solid. They do have some holes, especially just kind of in the back end of the secondary, but I think this one's going to be not as close as what you would think. I think Tennessee, that home field advantage is going to help a lot, but I think they're also a home field advantage that you score 14 real quick and they have nothing, that they're going to get out of it pretty quick. So I think that's a win. I don't think there's much question on that one for me personally, and that brings us up to 8-1.
Kel?
I think we win this one as well. I could see Tennessee not being ranked by the time we play them. So I think we go in there, and if John Mateer is really that guy, I think he puts on a Heisman-worthy performance, and he's in that conversation by this point, and he goes out there and just lights it up.
If it's an afternoon game, Oklahoma wins. If it's an evening game, Tennessee wins. I think it's going to be an evening game, and I picked Tennessee in this ball game. That crowd is just going to be incredible. Again, hoping the Sooners win, but I'm going to take Tennessee in this game.
We almost beat LSU in Death Valley last year.
Did we win?
Almost, but our team's better. But Knoxville's not Death Valley.
Okay. All right, Alabama in Tuscaloosa, November 15th. Thoughts there?
They're good. They got a new quarterback, but I don't think that's going to make an impact. Their last couple of years have not been because of the offense. It's just strictly defense, and that defense is, again, they're just solid. And I think we lose this game. I think it's going to be hard to go in there and win. So I think it's going to be close, but I think we're going to just get beat up and see again, kind of after that Tennessee game. I think we're just going to be kind of exhausted, but I expect a loss against Alabama, and that brings us to 8-2.
Well, I wasn't aware that Gary read all my notes for this, so I was also. I feel like 2 losses, it has to be expected. Like, I'm not going to be a guy going to go into the season thinking we're going undefeated. So it's like I got to pick some games, and this one makes the most sense. They're a great team. We're obviously going in their turf, so it's two tough road battles in a row. And I think it's close, but I think they edge us out in the end.
I agree. I think being in Alabama, if it was at Oklahoma like it was last year, I think we win. Since it's there, I think we're going to lose. It'll be 7-3 after this game. But you made a point. We're going to have to expect some losses. 10-2 is now the new 11-1. Like when 11-1 teams, now 10-2 is probably going to be a really good record. But as of right now, I have Oklahoma at 7-3 on to the Saturday before Thanksgiving, November 22nd, gets Missouri Tigers.
That's a win. It's going to be an absolute
we're
bloodbath.
Yeah, we're going to beat those.
It's not going to be
Suckers.
close. I can't wait.
I
can't
That's
wait.
gonna be fun.
I think we dropped 50 on them.
Yeah.
I think we dropped 50. I think they scored maybe like 17 or something. But
I was thinking 14 to 17 as well. So
screw you, man.
Yeah, currently it's showing 11 o'clock kickoff, which I think if that's the kickoff, because it's showing 11. Doesn't matter. We're going to beat Missouri. I've been an OU fan for as long as I can remember, and I've had season tickets for 30 years, and of course they haven't been in the Big 12 in a while. But even when we had Big 12 season tickets, I never had ever gotten to see Missouri. Something occurred every time we played Missouri that I was unable to attend. This will be the first time I see Missouri, and I can't wait. I can't wait because our fans are so excited about their, 5 or 6 win team and how they beat us last year. And those guys, those folks don't know football. They think they know football because of the Chiefs. I mean, Missouri's nothing like the Chiefs. Missouri Tigers, garbage.
So
we will win.
Going into the last week,
I've got us
9-2.
I've got us at 8-3 right now. And this is a big game I'm looking forward to. LSU comes into town the Saturday after Thanksgiving, November 29th. Could be an afternoon or evening kickoff. I'm praying it's an evening kickoff. What are your thoughts on this game?
I fully expect it to be an evening kickoff. I think this game is going to be huge because I think both teams going into it with a win are basically going to be getting into the playoffs. And then with a loss are going to be on the outside looking in, still maybe a chance. But again, that win would help a ton. And I almost give them a lock. So I think it's for sure going to be one of those higher ranked matchups of the year when it all's said and done. LSU is good. Like I said earlier, we almost beat them in Death Valley last year, but they got so many upgrades. Their receiving core is amazing. Nussmeier is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Offensive line solid. They got one of the best running backs in the country as well, and their defense is just, they're filthy. So it's going to be a tough matchup, and I unfortunately think at the end of the year we're going to get a gut punch, and it's going to suck being the last game of the year. And again, like I said, all those hopes and dreams of making the playoffs again kind of pulled away from us, and I think LSU takes it away, and I think we fall to 9-3.
Kellen?
I disagree. I think we put on an absolute performance. I could see this being one of those crazy opposite games like us against Georgia or us against Patrick Mahomes at Tech. Like, I think it's just going to be huge, but this is the one we pull off, and we're going to be at that game for sure. I think unless one of these teams falls off due to injury or just not being as good as somebody expects, it will be a night game. Unless something crazy happens, it will be a night game. And I think this will be an insane game, but I think we win this one. And I think this puts a stamp on the season and lets everybody know we are real. This is no fluke, and we're here.
Moneyline Mateer's the guy.
So
this locks him in. He's a Heisman finalist at this point. It's just, we'll see.
You've got him at 10-2. Garrett's at 9-3. Well, they're going to finish 8-4. LSU is going to beat them. That's unfortunate. LSU just bigger. They're more physical, in my opinion. We'll see how it goes. How the season plays out. It all depends, of course. All these games, as everybody knows, depends on how healthy both teams in any of these games are. But I just think OU's almost there, but I don't think they're going to be able to take this one over. I think that winning 2 games more than last year in the regular season is a huge upside, which stinks because when you talk about an 8-4 team, and hypothetically I'd be happy with it, is ridiculous because if we were 8-4 10 years ago, it's unacceptable at Oklahoma. And it's still unacceptable. But after the last, 2 out of the last 3 seasons that we've had, I think 8-4 with this schedule and being in the SEC is doable. Now, again, the 4 losses I have, what is it? Texas, Tennessee, Alabama, LSU. If one of those games they can pull out, I think 9-3 may put them into the playoff. It's a possibility that it puts them into the playoff. And I truly think Mateer is going to be the real deal. You got Jaden Ott. Can the line protect both of them, to be honest with you? And then the defense, if the defense can play like they did last year, maybe obviously a little better, but if they can play the way they did last year, our offense is going to be so much better. And the other thing is these other teams, they don't know what they've got. I mean, they know they've got some good talent, but anything could happen. And you guys all know that. Anything could happen in any one of these kind of games going down the season you're playing. But it's going to be fun, and just seeing some of these different helmets and these uniforms in the Owen Field is just it's going to be incredible. It's going to be incredible. So
Another
that would
thing
put them at a bowl
quickly
game.
on
I don't
LSU
know. I don't know which one. Go ahead.
I think Brian Kelly's a joke of a head coach. So I think that could also be a huge thing, is that it's down. I mean, same thing, like I said, for them, it's win and get in, but he just chokes it like he always does. Always.
Could be his last game.
Entire career. And I agree. I think that because of that, if we were to win, it could be his last year at LSU. But that is one thing that I could for sure seeing as one of the key factors on us able to win that game.
Yeah, I mean, my thoughts are, and if they're going into this game with having been lower than what they were expected to be, I think we obviously have a good chance to win, because I think Brian Kelly doesn't show, his teams don't seem like they show up under pressure. But if it's a game where they've been rolling all season and the win helps get them into the SEC title game, or possible playoff, because I don't think we may not know at that point. Well, we're not going to know, but then it could be a completely different story. But again, you guys would know as well as I do, we got to stay healthy, keep those guys healthy, keep our receiving core good, keep the defensive players good. I mean, that defensive line of ours, I mean, I know you said you didn't think it was going to be, basically they got to show you first, which I don't disagree, but I think they're going to be something special. I think they're building defensive lines like Venables had while he was at Clemson, some of the best in the country. And he's got these guys now, I think. They still may be another year away, but the bottom line is this year they're going to be ready. And by the time we're playing Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, and LSU, they're going to be battle tested and they're going to be ready to roll. It'll be fun. Let's get into the SEC schedule. There's going to be you want to talk about it a little bit, Gary? Explain it to the group.
Well, it's just switching. Yeah, just 9 conference games, 3 same matchups year in, year out, and then also one of those out-of-conference games has to be against a Power 4 or Notre Dame game as well. So we're essentially losing 2 free wins in a way, and it's not going to be a free win anymore by any means. So,
no,
which,
not for anybody.
Again, as a fan who goes to the games and everything, more exciting because there's no. There's no telling who we'll see because that out of conference, you never know. So,
you're right.
But it does stink for the sense of, you basically had 3 automatic wins every year, and now it's down to 1. So
yeah. Well, 4 if you count Oklahoma State, but anyway.
Well, I'm talking since we switched to the SEC, but yeah.
So the
and that's not really quick. Now we can. I think it makes it easier for us to schedule Oklahoma State. That's a good point.
That would be cool.
Which, if that's the case, free win. But
I don't think we can pay them to want to play us, though.
I don't know. It all depends. What 3 teams would you? I mean, Texas is one of them automatically. What are the other 2 teams who you think makes the most sense being the rivalry games going forward?
Obviously Texas, and then I think you'd have to have Mizzou as well. And then I think from things I've seen, it makes sense also to me to have like an Arkansas, but I've also seen some things having Tennessee, which is interesting.
Okay.
But I think it would be like a Mizzou, Texas, Arkansas.
Okay. Kellen, what are your thoughts?
I was thinking the exact same thing. I was thinking Mizzou, Texas, Arkansas. I hope it's not Mizzou and Arkansas because they're easy. easier. No disrespect to Mizzou, but no disrespect to Arkansas. Because
Missouri
Texas
stinks.
obviously is obvious, but I would love to swap one of them out for like Tennessee or Bama or something. But I just know it on a map. It also just makes sense. Mizzou and Arkansas.
Because also as a fan, like you want to say like, "Oh, give us Texas, Bama, and like LSU or something," but that would stink because that's 3 tough matchups. So you have
Oh,
to
yeah.
have some mediocrity in there as well.
Yeah, I mean Texas obviously is going to be there. Missouri makes sense from the former Big 8, Big 12 days. I've heard several different things. I haven't heard Tennessee, which is what's crazy. I've heard A&M. I've heard Mississippi State. I've heard Arkansas. I've even heard Florida, where they think like some people that I follow really think it's going to be the Florida, and they were talking about how it would help recruiting being in Florida. But one of the other guys said, "Hey man, like we recruit Florida very well anyway. Now, if we were able to get into Florida and play a game there every couple of years, maybe that does help. I don't know. Me personally, I want it to be Arkansas. I don't want to, because I think that we're so close, and plus, I'd like to have 2 victories against Arkansas and Missouri every year. Because some of these others, Texas A&M, that's a tough place to go and play. I don't care what the record is; it's tough. I don't want to be LSU every year, even though I've talked about how I think that would be a cool day after Thanksgiving, or Friday or Saturday after Thanksgiving game going forward. I think which would still be cool. However, I mean, I would personally rather see Missouri and us beating up on Missouri and then Arkansas, because we don't have any kind of history with Arkansas, and we were so close to them. And again, it would be fun to just kind of beat up on them a little bit, that'd be kind of like the new Oklahoma State little brother, beat up on.
I was
them.
going to say, I think Mizzou would be the new Oklahoma State. Beat us once every 20 years and talk about it all
possibly,
year,
yeah.
and they disappear again for the next
They're just
19.
garbage though. Those guys.
That's what I'm saying. But Oklahoma State's never really that good. They beat us every once in a while because it's a rivalry game, and we have an off year.
Yeah.
But Mizzou's going to be the same thing.
Do we know when we find that out?
I don't know. I haven't
actually.
I
don't either. I think it'll be very, very interesting. I can't wait. I get the fact that it's the Texas game. I get all that, but 2 other teams, Missouri makes sense. Arkansas makes sense. Florida would be very, very interesting, to put it that way. It just seems like a long place to go every other year to me. But I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter in today's college game. Anything else with OU that you want to talk about?
Your MVPs of the offense and the defense, what you think?
You want me to go, or you want to go?
Well, I asked, so you go.
Well, I mean, I think it's going to be Mateer. I think Mateer's the man. And, man, I think it's going to be R. Mason Thomas on the defense. I think he's going to have a big year. Could be Stone if Stone steps up. I still think he may be another year away. What's the other guy's name? Is it Jackson?
Jaden
Jackson. I think he's got. Kip Lewis. I mean, golly, man. If Genter or Williams can stay healthy, watch out now. What are your thoughts, Kellen?
Obviously, Mateer, unless we've all been fooled, and if so, my 10-2 is completely different. No. But obviously Mateer, and I was thinking Gentry, but I guess we'll see. I'm interested to see what our defense looks like this year with people like Stutzman and all them leaving.
The middle linebackers, Kobe McKenzie,
who I think is going to be
he's got a shot. Yeah, he can be a stud this year. What are your thoughts?
I think to go off the obvious answer, I think Mateer is the obvious answer. And I think, last time we had a quarterback who had to post a picture of his notes app apologizing to the fans, Baker Mayfield won the Heisman. So I think it's just going to be a repeat. But anyways, I think it'll be Giovanni Gibson, receiver from the transfer portal. I think from everything we've seen, that guy has potential out the wazoo. I think he's just a pure receiver 1 caliber and build. And I think him and Mateer are going to have a really, really good chemistry out there on the field. And on the defensive side of the ball, I agree. I think also our Mason, if he plays good enough, could put himself into a top 20 pick in this year's draft. And biggest thing from him is last year, he got a lot of sacks, but they were all basically in the last 5 minutes of the game. And they were pointless. They were not pointless. I shouldn't say pointless. especially in the Auburn game. They won us the Auburn game. But anyways, I want to see him get better on just consistency. But I think you mentioned it, the linebacker group. I think we improved even with losing Stutzman. I think Kip Lewis obviously is just a playmaker and a dynamic type of linebacker. He's a little bit smaller, obviously, but he has just kind of that motor. And I think Kobe McKenzie, some people are worried about his speed just because he's a little bit of a bigger guy, but I think that is going to show dividends in just him being able to actually tackle the guy. So I think our Kip Lewis or Kobe McKenzie for sure.
Sure. That would be wild. And I think my hot take is I think Mateer is obviously going to be the best quarterback since Baker Mayfield at Oklahoma. No disrespect to Kyler or Jalen Hurts because I think they were incredible. Were they both only there for 1 year?
Yeah.
And then
No,
possibility
or
Mateer
who'd you
only
say?
there for a year as well.
Gabriel was here for a couple.
No, but I'm talking about he's going to be the best since Baker Mayfield, and I said no disrespect to Kyler or to Jalen, who I think both those guys.
Jalen, yeah, sorry,
yeah. But regardless, I think he's going to be incredible. I love for him to stick around for 2 years, but if he's going to be a high draft pick in the NFL, he won't. I don't blame him. Although I wish he would stick around, but we'll see. I'm not going to worry about that until after the fact. Anything else with Oklahoma before I go into my 2 final questions? All right. So this has been a while since this came out, and I just remembered it. Who wins between 100 men and 1 gorilla? Who's going to win that battle?
Men. I think there's going to be casualties, but I think at some point they all band together, they pin that gorilla down, and they win at some point. Going to lose a lot of them, but that's 100 men. And if you get to choose your men, like, okay, if it's 100 Garys, maybe not, but if you give me like 100 like Aaron Donalds and people like that, like, I like our odds.
I don't know, man.
I'd have to go gorilla. I think here's the problem though, is like 100 men sounds like a lot, but in reality, you're only going to have like 6 of them going up there at once. Like, you can't have too many cooks in the kitchen. Like, they'll just be running into each other. Gorilla swipes at his arm, knocks out 4 dudes in one swipe. Like,
yeah,
I'd have to go gorilla.
I'd go with a gorilla. If it was 250 men, maybe, but no, it'd just be too rough. Too rough. All right, so keep 4, cut 4. This is called the Guilty Pleasures Edition. So you're going to keep 4, and you're going to cut 4. The first one being binge watch reality TV.
Cut.
Late night fast food runs.
Keep.
Number 3, singing in the shower.
Cut.
Number 4, eating dessert before dinner.
Cut.
Number, what are we on, 5? Overusing emojis.
Cut.
That's not a very good one.
Yeah.
Number 6, online shopping sprees.
I guess
keep. I could keep all these bad boys.
You got to keep all the rest of them?
Yeah, we're both keeping everything.
That's perfect because both of you are going to be stalking old high school classmates on social media.
Well,
you're also going to be blasting 2000s pop music in the car while you're driving.
Fabulous.
I still probably wouldn't change anything, but I really only need to keep one of those. Cut the rest.
Yeah, my apologies, folks. Wasn't
probably
the best ones I've ever had. But that is a wrap from the Fox Den, and we want to appreciate everyone that listened to our podcast tonight. We really do appreciate. We want you to make sure you subscribe and leave us some comments. But if we made you laugh, made you mad, or made you question your entire fan base, then guess what? The mission has been accomplished. So stay loud, stay loyal. We'll see you next time on the Fox Den. Until next time, goodbye, everybody. Boomer.
Thank you for listening to the Fox Den Sports Podcast. Be sure to subscribe for free to our YouTube channel, Fox Den Sports. And also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Fox Den Sports and on Facebook at Fox Den Sports Podcast. You can also email us at foxdensports@yahoo.com. This has been Fox Den Sports.